Hi, my name's Will and welcome to the Distorted Transmission for today. I'm talking to Wellington band Libbianski, which is very hard to say. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. The internet says that you're a four-piece shoegaze slash dream pop band from Wellington, New Zealand. Honestly, I didn't know what dream pop was because maybe it's because I'm old or maybe I'm into metal. I don't know. But I looked it up and apparently shoegaze and dream pop are kind of interchangeable. Sort of, there were some 80s bands that kind of made it iconic. So I learned a bit today. Thank you. So in the band, who is who and who does what?
Sure. So in the band, we have myself, Mina. So I am the front woman, so singer, and I also play guitar, but more of a rhythm guitar, the basic guitarist, pretty much. And we have Tom here.
I play the drums. That's what I do.
And we also have Kurt Williams, who is he's basically, I feel like, our kind of leader. He's like the primary songwriter. So Kurt Williams is also in Tuscoma, it was Hollywood Fun Downstairs, etc. And then we also have recently got a new bass player, Nat Reed. And on our recordings that we're releasing, though, we had Sam Lamy, who was our bass player before that. To be fair, when Kurt approached me about doing this band, he was like, I'm wanting to do a shoegaze band. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, I was like, what is shoegaze? I didn't really know what that was. And I have friends go, what is shoegaze? And then he explained, he's like, oh, like this and this and this. And he explained like My Bloody Valentine, Slow Dive, and, stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, I already listened to heaps of that. I already love that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, and I kind of looked up, what shoegaze was. I was like, yep, cool. I like that. Yeah, and already listened to heaps. Nothing was another band that I was quite into that sort of fits that genre, but also kind of, isn't strictly shoegaze. I kind of like the idea of kind of crossing genres a little bit, or just not being
predictable.
Yeah, you want to just do music that you like, right? And not worry about it not fitting a certain format,
As you said, Tuscoma. I know Kurt from Tuscoma, and I knew Sam from my past interactions with Opium Eater. Tom, you're from Battle of Endor and the was it Altar of Aklis? I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, used to play in Battle for Endor, have since parted ways, but was a fun time. And Altar of Aklis, Aklis, however you want to pronounce it. Both are actually technically correct. Sort of when I feel up to writing music, it comes out as Altar of Aklis, and that sort of has been on the back burner a little bit with Libbianski and a few other projects that I've been involved in.
I laughed a little bit because I read the description of that band and I misread it. It says Wellington-based black metal combining elements from post-metal, black metal, and shoegaze, but I misread it and thought it was based black metal, as in sort of the modern parlance, sort of based as in sort of shows agreement on social media. I was like, it's a based black metal band. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's a bit of a hiatus. It's just sort of an extra thing I do on the side it was me when I started writing music. I didn't really know what to write, and being really into shoegaze music anyway, and also black metal stuff, it was really cool to try and combine the two. Which has been really fun in Libbianski, because now it's just the shoegaze part of it. So a lot less sweaty compared to the black metal, and a little bit more radio friendly, perhaps.
Melodic.
So yeah.
Well, I tried to look up Mina, but she has made her Facebook private, so I couldn't snoop and learn anything. So
yeah, I did that recently. But I'm also, I was in a band called Secrets of the Sun, which is kind of on a hiatus at this point. I was front woman for that as well. So, yeah, doing two bands is a little bit difficult at times. So I've kind of put it on the back burner from my perspective while I do Libbianski.
Was that band similar in style or quite different?
Quite different, really. I mean, there's probably some elements that were similar in that it was more of a kind of alternative rock band, less like with only like a little touch of that kind of heavier kind of sound. But I would say Libbianski is probably a little bit more accessible, or a little bit more oriented in a way, I guess. Yeah.
All right, so you've got 3 tracks out on Bandcamp, and I mean probably other platforms, but I tend to go to Bandcamp. I'm not really a Spotify guy. I'm
Fair enough.
old school, and I fucking hate Spotify. Anyway,
We all hate it too because it pays nothing, but
Yeah.
you kind of have to have it if you want your music out there for people, you know?
exactly. So everybody out there, support bands through Bandcamp. They end up with the money. Beautiful Ruins released March 2023. Silver Tongue Dog and Too Many Fools Not of Horses, which I've actually written hoarded. I guess I typed that in wrong. In February this year. It seems the first track was a pre-tom and was self-recorded and released. That was just a guess. Whereas the second 2 were recorded at the Armory under the watchful gaze of Troy Kelly.
Correct.
So yeah, my favorite track, for what it's worth, is Too Many Fools. I really, really dig that song, which is why I bought the shirt off. So that's a really cool song. So if you are going to write more songs going ahead, please make them like that.
I think you'll hopefully like the stuff that we have coming up then if you liked Too Many Fools.
That thick guitar sound. Sorry, you were saying?
And Too Many Fools is probably my favorite out of the 3 as well, if I was going to pick a favorite.
It has a bit of a sneaky Nirvana vibe to it. That sort of dan.
Yeah.
We specifically the choruses, we always have a bit of a laugh when we call them the Nirvana choruses, because it kind of has that vibe. I think everybody in the band sort of has some penchant for grunge and stuff, so
Yeah.
it definitely was one of those things that it was like, hell yeah, everyone gets to sort of open up, have a bit of fun in those sections, and
And it's fun to play as well.
Oh,
like, yeah, especially live.
oh yeah,
It's good
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
So what's the plans for the year coming up? What's going on?
We've got a bit of a schedule, but it's sort of all coming in the next couple of months, the stuff that we do have planned. So we've got another single dropping on Friday, so that's 2 days away from now. So that'll be out when this interview comes out. And that is called Pity Platter. And then we have we have an album coming out on 1st of April. So that's ready to go, mixed, mastered, scheduled for release. So that's pretty exciting, and we're really looking forward to that. And we'll probably release we're going to release the title track off the album, because it's probably our favorite across the band. So that album's going to be called Useless Splendor, and it's our kind of band favorite, and we don't want it to get lost in the release of the album. So we kind of wanted it to have its own kind of spotlight a couple of weeks before.
So all those tracks were recorded at the Armory, I presume.
Yeah. So Troy recorded that whole album with us, engineered it, and then we had mixing and mastering done separately. So mixing was done by Chris Johnson of Deaf Heaven. He's bass player for Deaf Heaven, but also a very, very accomplished audio engineer.
And then mastered by Alan Duche. And we were really lucky that it coincided that both Chris and Alan were in the same place in the States at the same time. So when we sent when we were happy with the mixes and we were like, time for mastering, they could share notes. So very lucky. I think sometimes with that sort of stuff, it's quite easy to get lost. I mean, if you think about it, we recorded the album in Wellington, and then it went across to America, and then it went to another place in America, and then it came all the way back to Wellington. So we're very fortunate that everything kind of worked out. And Chris is quite a good friend of Kurt's, so we were getting very quick updates, and pretty easy process, all things considered. I think we were smash out the recording for the album with Troy over 2 weekends in October. We did 12-hour days basically over 2 weekends. Not gonna lie, there was some frustrating moments, as there is always with being together for that much time. But the process was made really easy with him, and he was really chill. And
Troy was great, actually. Yeah.
Some bands record live, try to get everything sort of churning at the same time. Some people separate, track drums first, the guide track. How did you guys approach the recording?
We kind of went with the approach of getting the rhythm section done, but we did it by playing live together, if that makes sense. So we're recording live, but obviously we're trying to get the great takes on the drums first, and then we'd rework what needed to be done on bass, and then do the guitars later, and vocals were kind of done last, but in kind of fits and spurts, so I didn't have to do it all in, one day at the end. So we just tried to break it up a little bit, but we basically you were excellent. He got his drum takes done on the first day pretty much, so that meant that we were able to do it that way, I guess.
And that was 10 tracks, right? So that's pretty impressive.
So before we even really approached the studio, I think we probably were together in practice room every week for over a year. Just
twice a week
for most of it. So Sundays and Mondays, we'd practice for a couple of hours and just get the tracks really solid, and then we just started practicing them in album order. And it actually worked out that we played a gig at Thistle Hall the night before we were due in the studio, so we're all really fresh and really pumped. And Troy had us, like Mina said, set up in a big live room, and it actually came out really good. We redubbed the guitars and stuff, but I mean, I was worried as a drummer, every time I've recorded in like metal bands, or even when I've done like other stuff, it's always click track, very heavily like structured and organized with metronomes and everything. And here's the section that you've got to play. Let's move on to the next section. But I guess because we're a very analog band, lots of analog amps, real capturing that vintage 90s, 80s sound, it felt a lot better to just get everything out there. And even if that means the timing kind of goes a little bit faster or shorter, I think it kind of makes the music sound a bit more realer and a bit more rawer than tracking. That's not to say that tracking overdubbing tracks and recording to a click track is a bad thing, but for us it was really cool that we have that environment that we could do that in.
The reason why I asked you that question was because when I listened to the tracks, they did have that organic vibe. I have done both in my time, and the click track way is very mechanical. It is, you lose all your feel, or you're constantly chasing the click, you're speeding up, slowing down. It'd be rubbish for your band, I think.
I'm not used to recording to click. It drives me I've tried to do it before. I remember trying to do it once with another band in the studio, and it's just, if people are not trained to work to a click, then it can turn into a total shit show pretty quickly, right? So it's kind of
you got some shows coming up?
We're doing some shows in April. So we're playing Wellington. This is at the end of April. We haven't announced the shows yet, but they'll be coming up soon. Just finalizing a few details, like your supports, etc. as well, because you want to get them on your posters and all of the, advertising and etc. So playing Wellington and Auckland and Tauranga. And we're also hoping to get down to the South Island at some point as well. To kind of
May, I think, for that one,
So definitely be looking at Dunedin, probably Christchurch while we're down there as well. So that's planned so far, and that will be to support the album release, which is 1 April.
Do you guys have anything that you'd like to add to the end of the interview, just to round it out?
So we're really looking forward to everyone being able to hear our album on the 1st of April. We think it's got, a good range of tracks. There's not really any duds on there at all. We think that it will go down quite well, and we're super excited for you all to have a listen to us. So 1 April on all the usual streaming services.
Big shout out to Troy down at the Armory, especially his son Neo. I will tell a very quick quib. His son Neo used to bring us coffees every morning, which was fantastic. He's got a really lovely studio. So if you're in the Wellington region and you want to get an album recorded, he's got it, man. He's got all the gear, really lovely little space. He mixes, he masters. Also, yeah, thanks to Chris, for mixing it. He was really awesome to work with. If he watches this, we're really sorry. We fangirled really hard over you at the Deaf Heaven show. You're a really lovely person. Thank you. And also to Alan, who mastered everything. The process was probably the easiest release I've ever worked on. So yeah, big shout out to everybody, and also just everybody, I guess, who's bought merch, come to our shows so far. I would be remiss without saying probably I have to thank my mum and dad for not only buying every band shirt I've ever made, but particularly buying the Libbianski band shirts and coming to my shows. So yeah, shout out to everyone and anyone who I've missed. But yeah, thanks.
Is that it? Well done.
Oh, actually, we'll probably quick little one. Big thank you to in particular, is it Simon from Hail Meteor?
Oh,
who
yes,
who did the design on the Libbianski shirt. That was really cool. That was our first poster show. We'll probably have some more merch coming, but we've got a bunch of shirts left. So big thanks to him. Check out Hail Meteor. They're really cool. He did that really cool dinosaur, pink blue dinosaur.
It's the horse skeleton
thing. Yeah, that was really cool. That he did that design for us, and yeah, thanks once again to everyone who's bought merch, and yeah, we really appreciate it. So
thanks very much for chatting with me. I think it was a great interview. Say goodbye to everyone.
Bye everyone.
Cool. And thanks for watching.